I've got an inkling that little twinkling on the horizon might have us thinking along the same lines. So, here's to first contact. And did I mention, my name is Max.
All right, well, welcome Max Rapkin to Roman Anton podcast. It's a pleasure to have you back. I'll be honest with everyone. We worked with Max a couple weeks ago to get this set up, so we're going to go again today. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
It's really good to be here.
Yeah.
And it's always great to be a part of your operation and Roman Anton. And, it's great to see the improvements that constantly are being made, to this studio. And it's great to be back.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you saying that. You're part of the family here. We've been hanging out for a pretty long time. I guess Bangkok's years. I appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to be here, mate.
So I drive over. So just for those of you listening, Max and I and Frank and Shogo and the guys have been hanging out for a while. We've gone to the Jai Tep Festival together up in Chiang Mai.
Indeed.
We've played at your location, and I think we'll talk about that later, the location. I was driving over here, so we're in Bangkok, Thailand right now filming this.
Yes.
And
City of Angels.
Right. You live on one side of town, I live over here, and you came over this way, and I was driving over, and I thought, I haven't talked to you in maybe a week. I thought the first thing I wanted to talk to you about was your fitness regime, because it's been such a radical change. So we're coming out of COVID. We check in from time to time, but I think everyone checked in less.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Right? But you were training like mad.
Yes.
So you're not a professional athlete, but you were training and posting photos, and it started to look professional.
It's funny It's funny you mentioned this. I recently had a checkup, and I went to Bummengrad hospital for a full physical checkup. I haven't done it before.
Right.
It was actually thanks to a friend of mine. He had buy one get one free on these full physical, and he was like, "Max, go and check out. You're always talking about how you want to know about your body, and I'm very interested in how my body's working. So I went there, and the first thing they do is take the pulse and the beats per minute and everything, and I will admit they were shocked. They were stunned at how slow my heart rate was.
What was it? Do you remember?
35 beats per minute.
That's like Bjorn Borg.
I was actually shocked myself, because
35.
I've never been below 40. I knew it was in the 40s, but 35 beats per minute, and they were staring at me like, "Are you feeling faint right now?" And I said, "No, I feel amazing." But it can be a concerning thing.
Yeah.
I've since read about it.
Yeah.
But the fact is, I feel like I am an athlete because I do endurance training.
Yeah.
I've always been a runner, so I run a lot, and I do a lot of high intensity stuff and boxing, and I really push myself, when I'm training.
Yeah.
So, I don't do weightlifting much or anything like that, but it's more just high intensity training, boxing, running, and a lot of functional stuff as well, like pull-ups, things like that. But it was quite surprising to see how low my heart rate was. And
that's classic.
Yeah, and that's a symptom of I think my training regime, which.
Well, I think you're born with that, though. That seems to be extraordinary. Because I remember as a young boy listening to this Bjorn Borg phenomenon where he had that thing, and like a high heart rate for him was 60 or 80. Maybe I'm making up that next part, but I remember he had this super long thing. So I remember he was a big tennis player.
Yeah.
Sweden won Wimbledon a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Legend.
Well, and it's funny because so you're throwing out Thai words, Bumrungrad. That's one of the sort of the luxury hospitals here, I guess, if you can call hospitals luxurious. But you check into that place and you're like, what in the world is happening, right?
Yeah.
Bathrobes. Slippers, breakfast.
Man, it's the works. It's the works, man. And they go all out. They really make you feel well taken care of. Let's just say.
Sir, go to station 11. I've lost track.
And I don't usually take free food. I'm just very picky about food.
Yeah.
But the food they put on, I tucked into that. It was good.
Did you go to the reception level, or did you go straight to booth 1 or something.
I went to, where is it?
To get a card, right? To give you a card to check in.
Yes, I did. Yeah,
right. I
registered with them.
Pretty luxurious, right?
Yeah, and then you're escorted to your quarters, you know, and it's all just seamless, you know. And even the care, aftercare was seamless as well. They sent me an email with my full checkup and stuff, and you know, the report was very encouraging for my body at the moment. It's in good shape.
Good.
And you know, long may that continue. You know.
Yeah, cholesterol and stuff like that.
Everything is bang on. Yeah, everything's bang on. Except they said they saw slight traces of a virus, but that I was showing no symptoms. That's apparently very common. I think we're all carrying viruses on a regular basis in this day and age.
What does that mean? Like a low white
blood cells? Exactly. Like just slightly. It's fascinating though, because the human body, you know, it's fascinating. Yeah. I love this topic now.
I didn't mean to step on your line there.
No worries at all.
I was at Summitovej, my hospital down the street here, and I did the same thing last week. I do it every year around this time. And had the same thing, first time. And so I have 8 years of history here, so I compare year to year. And had low white blood cell. Yeah, and it was just, there's a whole host of reasons. This first time, not much, just a little. And then you know, you compare.
So something's going around, right?
Yeah.
You know.
I think Frank is sick right now. Well, but we have a show at Speaker Box next week, which I'll talk to you about again later. But Frank, the week before every show, we get Frank, the bass player and co-songwriter for Roman Anton.
Absolutely,
legend. He gets sick and then powers through the night of the show. So we have to deal with this. I'm waiting for Shogo to get sick. Our drummer Shogo's from Japan, so
yeah.
But good. Well, I mean, so one of the things I wanted to talk about was. You know, some of the things you posted, it's standard sort of the good and the bad and the fun. I saw you doing pull-ups on a bar that looked like it was out underneath an overpass on a highway. And then you've told me that you box in the parking structure to a friend's apartment or your apartment? Or your home or something?
Well, during COVID, you know, we decided we wanted to get sparring, you know. So we, outside his condominium, there was like a concrete patch, you know, and it's just perfect. You know, it's kind of hemmed in by these bushes, and we're just in this corner just trading punches, you know, and he's helping me, coaching me and stuff. And it was fun. It was a fun thing to do during the lockdown period when all the gyms were shut. And to be honest, I'm not a member of a gym anymore, and I'm quite happy that way. I like to do my own kind of style of training. I like to do something a bit different every day. I'm not someone who uses the machines and stuff in gyms anymore. Not as a rule anyway.
Yeah.
If I'm in a gym, I'll always find something I can use. And but in terms of training, I like to do a bit of variety. And you know, I decided to part ways with my fitness center a while ago, many years ago. And in fact, recently, another thing I like doing is jumping in a sauna and an ice bath. I recently discovered somewhere in Bangkok that's really good for that.
Soi 22?
Exactly.
You know, Eddie just told me about that.
Oh, you got to try it.
Well,
I'm sure you've been to a good one
yourself. I have,
yourself.
but Frank and I about 6 years ago were having Mexican food at the Diablo at the back of Soi 22. So I guess in Thailand we say soy for street, and this is a sub Soi 22 off of Sukhumvit, and so it's close to your office, your place.
Yes.
My apartment.
Very convenient.
Close to here. And El Diablo, the owner is a young guy, fit like you. And I saw him and I said, what's going on? And he said, I just got back from the sauna. And I said, give me a break. He said, we got the best one in the neighborhood on his street. And so I went there to check it out, but everything started getting knocked down around that. And I thought it can't survive. There's a big 7-Eleven in front of it now.
I don't know what's going on there. It's such a kind of humble ghetto kind of establishment. Yeah. But when you walk in there, you know, you've got a sauna, a steam room, you've got swimming pools, hot, cold, regular. Yeah. You've got everything, and you've got an ice bath, an ice cool bath, which is really beneficial for the body. I've recently discovered, you know, from researching and stuff, and it really helps, you know. And Eddie also told me about it, and that's a way.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
It's making the rounds.
That's a way to spend a few hours for sure.
Well, and I'll say this. I mean, Max just used the word ghetto, and I think we call that area the edge of Klung Toi, which has another name, the Klung Toi slum area, but ghetto slum. I'm sure those aren't words that we pass around lightly, but it's a lot of the houses there built a long time ago, but are very meager
Yeah.
accommodations, and
Yeah.
and that whole stretch has some monstrously awesome
Absolutely.
new property, and then these things, and it's great. I still love Soi 22.
Oh, mate, it's
Yeah.
and get this, it's 200 baht to
Secret's out.
go in there and have your full
TripAdvisor.
spend as long as you want. And get this, when I came out of the sauna, I saw a drink on my table,
Oh.
ice cold drink, and I'd been sweating a lot, and I was actually gasping for a drink. And I said to them, guys, can I have a drink, please? I'll buy a drink. And they said, it's over there. They'd already prepared it for me.
Part of the ticket.
And the fruit, fresh fruit.
Nice.
It's just a wonderful service. It really is. And that was a really special moment when I discovered that place. I'll be there once a week at least.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. I'm glad you found that. So it's, part of when I was driving over here, I was thinking of sort of years in my connection, or you're in my connection. I'm not sure how to say that. And we had gone to a friend of yours event. I think Frank went to that. I don't think Shogo went with us to the MMA. Yeah, you were at that. Yeah, you took a bunch of photos. We went that night.
Yeah.
A mixed martial art. I don't think that's a brand anyone owns, so that's what we went to. And you and your friend had an active role in putting that on.
Full Metal Dojo.
Yeah. You're right. There you go.
Yeah.
And I think I already knew at that point that you'd done a significant amount of writing prior to that.
Yeah.
Is it Newcastle on Tyne? Is that the hometown, or is it
Almost Newcastle upon Tyne.
Upon Tyne,
Yeah,
Jesus,
yeah.
and it's Tyne,
Yeah.
it's not time. Okay, so I'm not even close. So let's just start over.
It's all
Newcastle
good.
beer,
It's all
Newcastle
good.
soccer, football.
That's it.
So you did some writing in that region, or did you
Yes.
write? Okay, and then you did
I've
some
been
sports
writing
writing.
my whole life.
Yeah, on the road. And so not accidental stuff, but the paths sort of, I've watched the paths converge for you on the writing about it to doing it. And
Yeah.
when I come see your live shows at your venue on Monday night and I order chili cheese fries, I've never once seen you take a chili cheese fry off the plate. So I'm starting.
It's a testament to, a bit of discipline that
I don't have.
Yeah, well, I would say you're allowed to treat yourself. You're allowed to treat yourself for your hard work.
You melt the cheese well at that place, dude. So
We've all got our little vices with
Yeah.
the food, and I love a cheese nachos as well. Chili cheese nachos from time to time.
Right. So I do the I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin area, so the melted cheese. You sort of had me at hello.
Nice.
That's my thing. But this brings us to Bangkok Ox. Can we talk about that? Is that something you want to talk about?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So
It's a side project at the moment.
Right. I don't know if I watched you come up with that, but I was around when you were coming up with that. I mean,
Yeah.
I've watched you explain it.
Yeah.
But I really thought, who else around here? So I guess you do expat, and then you do Thai, and then you do ASEAN, Asian. Who else sort of is looking at that space? And I don't spend a lot of time on social media because I don't know how to use much of it. But you put together something that doesn't seem like a lot of people are doing here. So I do turn to it, is bring together disciplines, right?
Yeah.
So I assume one night I'm going to walk into your place, Live Lounge, and there'll be a kickboxing on the stage, and someone's going to be getting kicked in the head up there. But, poetry, music, open mic.
I said, with the mixed martial arts, people have said this to me before, that they don't understand that my love for boxing and my love for the arts and things like that. I actually think there's a real kind of crossover there. Martial art is art. It's an art form. And I appreciate the art form as much as I appreciate, someone playing the guitar beautifully or someone, banging the drums beautifully, whatever, or reciting a beautiful poem.
Yeah.
This is all art to me.
And I think that's what I was thinking when I came over is you've, you came in and said, good job pulling your stuff together. And at the same time, I've watched you consistent. I mean, you have a comedy show here. So I guess what I'm trying to say is your Live Lounge Bangkok Ox Connections, your BKK Ox, which is an online sort of what's happening in Bangkok. And then the Live Lounge, which is your place on Soi 13, Sukhumvit Soi 13. I told you that earlier, is the main street through Bangkok, for those of you who don't know Bangkok well, Thailand. So you have these streams coming together there.
Yeah,
right?
BKK Ox, I like to shine a light on people in the city. I like to obviously support the arts community, but it's not just that. It's more for meaningful events in the city. I've noticed there's not really a space for promoting the meaningful stuff that's going on, and often it gets overlooked, and you'll have these events which, you know, maybe 20, 30 people go to that a lot more people should know about, you know. And it's art is a beautiful thing, and I think it does a lot for the city and the community, you know. So I do love to support the arts, but in terms of BKK Ox, it's more generally just events, meaningful events, and the people behind them in the city.
And then you'll write. Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting because someone I work with read the pieces that you did on Frank and me and Jai Tep and stuff, and clearly realized that wasn't my normal social media posting.
Yeah.
And said, who did this? This is good. But I guess what I'm trying to bring together here is you have this, you know, with the lead-in of the boxing and the workout, you have this multidisciplinary BKK Ox thing in which you write about stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a lot like Live Lounge, where some of your busiest nights have been comedy nights, right? And then some of the big busy nights have been rock and roll nights.
Yeah.
Heavy rock and roll nights, right? And then some of the big nights have been poetry reading nights.
That's right, yeah.
Right, and so it's not like you focus on one to the detriment of another, or that they all don't benefit, right?
Yeah, with Live Lounge, it's, you know, it's Bangkok's home for live performance. So for me, it was always going to be, always has been about, you know, the stage being a platform for, you know, emerging performers and artists to showcase their brand, showcase their art, you know. So that's what it's always been about. And we've even done dance performances.
Oh, that's right.
On the stage at Live Lounge, like really cool dance performances, and we love live performance, you know. So I think it's the only place in Bangkok, or one of the only places that really supports all the performing arts, and that's what our stage is for, you know.
Yeah,
and
I guess
we
have to say that, right? I mean, we don't know because we don't read the Thai press as well as other people might. So
Absolutely,
I'm sure there's venues, and the Arts Center obviously offers a lot of things on a wide-scale basis. But I think I tend to agree with you, in particular from the expat community.
Yeah,
for sure. But you have a lot of Thai acts.
Yes.
So you have the pin guitar player. I forget his name.
Don Tregul.
Yeah, and he's awesome.
Yeah.
And so he's super cool, and
we're very lucky that, you know, a lot of Thai acts have performed at Live Lounge and trusted our venue. Yeah. Even though it's not in a quite an international area. Yeah. You know, so it's on several occasions we've kind of bridged the gap between the two cultures, which is enormous. You know, the Western and the Asian culture. There's a big gap there between the cultures, but that we're always trying to bridge it with the arts, you know.
Yeah, and I think you have a partner or a co.
Davey, the co-founder of Live Lounge.
So
Live Lounge Bangkok.
And Davey, I always hesitate because he has aliases depending on what instruments.
He's here in spirit now. Believe me, he's smiling down just watching us from England.
Yeah, good. And I know when Frank and I, and so I guess to declare the conflict here, Frank and I have played at Live Lounge twice or three times, but we love playing there. We haven't played there with the three-piece. We play as a duo around town, Frank and I, and we both play guitars on those nights. And we love playing there, and the sound is fun, and it sounds cool up there, and we like you've done something that I think is very cool. Is I would call it this. I'd call it this because of an American term, and I think I'm wrong, but I'd call it stadium seating. So there's like benches or small narrow tables in front of you that you can put your feet up, and they're high chairs, right? And so you're facing the stage. I think that's a very cool thing. It says
we really deliberately lay out the venue so that all the chairs and tables are facing the stage.
Right.
You know, it's that the stage is where the magic happens. You know.
I can't think of anywhere else where I've seen that where it works as well. And I'm sure I've been to venues. I remember my mom took me to see a show in Chicago when I was 14. It was at a nightclub, right? The Park West. It was Daryl Hall and John Oates, and I think G.E. Smith had just joined the band. And it was a bar.
Yeah.
And so we got tickets, and my mom showed up with me and a friend of mine, Alexander Vodenlich, I think. He was 16. My mom was taking us down to see our favorite band at the time.
Amazing.
And it was tables. You know, it was tables next to the stage. And she sat at the head of the table. But I remember thinking at the time, like, can I turn my chair? You know, can I get a better view? And we were front row. We came early. We're the first ones sitting down.
Yeah.
And drank and ate and food. But I always think back to that show, like I was so small, you know, and I was sitting in this bar, and there was waitresses. It was a confusing environment, and I was very close. But when at Live Lounge, I think you've sort of bridged that gap of, like, wow, this is really made to witness.
Yeah,
right?
It's all about the live performance, you know.
Yeah.
It really is, and some places you will go, and the performance is just an afterthought, or it's the background music or whatever, which is fine. But for us, it's all about the live performance, and it's all about the performers getting on the stage, you know, and sharing their beautiful art with the audience. And we love the connection, you know, we love the connection, the human connection that is made with the art, and the dynamic between the art and the audience, and then between the audience themselves, you know, and everyone's really sharing a kind of kinship when they're watching a live performance.
Yeah.
And it's really, as you know yourself, it's compelling, and it's a deep spiritual feeling.
Yeah.
We love that.
Well, and it's clear. I mean, you guys are nice guys. I mean, you walk in, and it's very welcoming. And I've said that to you since I've met you both. And
I appreciate that.
well, and I remember coming in very commercial early on and saying, like, keg of beer and, you know, chicken wings, and you're like, slow down. So I could see
you know,
guys.
you know, that's the thing. Every venue does things differently, you know, and we do things very differently as well.
I chased you guys away. That was a funny.
Keg of
I
beer,
think that was through.
Keg of beer back in the day might have swung it.
That was through line though, and it was just the silence was deafening. It was like Thursday, keg of beer, quiet.
Oh, maybe we should go back to that one. Yeah, but the whole sort of the whole interaction we have with everyone we deal with is it's very meaningful for us, you know, and we're very fortunate that we've had the opportunity to do what we do, and to really build a connection with everyone we work with. And it's our goal to do that, you know, and we always want to make everything just as the performer wants it. You know, the comedians, they love, you know, everyone as close to the stage as possible, and we always just try and make it as comfortable and cozy as possible.
Yeah.
It's a very humble space. There's a lot you can do with a humble space, though. There's a lot you can do with a few tables and chairs and lighting and, you know, a bit of curtains, you know, and there's all sorts of little ways to make it feel intimate.
I sort of want to talk you off of some word choices here, maybe to correct a perception. It's not small space.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so humble's fine, but if people at home are thinking, oh, when I go to Bangkok, I want to go to some big venue. I mean, you can have a lot of people in your venue, which is sort of rare here. Is for Frank and I have played at places where, you know, 30 people is busting at the seams, and you've got someone sitting on the stage with you, right? Yeah. Which is fun, but it's different, right? But you have a lot of space in there, and so we like that as the dudes who play or, you know, stop by, right?
It's good to hear. Yeah. It's good to hear. I think I always compare it to back home, where I come from, and the concert kind of venues there, and the concert venues in England, which are all pretty big. You know, even if they're the small ones, they're quite big. But in terms of Bangkok, we are probably relatively big, you know, and fitting in 150 people is quite significant, I guess, in Bangkok terms.
I think it is. I mean, right? We're just not used to seeing that, right, Frank? Yeah. I mean, but I think
comfortably 100, I would say we can fit.
Well, you and I have had this discussion, so I'll bring it up again. I saw Blur in 1995 or 1996 in Washington, D.C. I was living in the States back then. And it was their the album with song number two was coming out. Yeah. And we were at the 930 Club, and I don't know if it's still there, but I imagine it was maybe capacity 300, less than 500 for sure, maybe 200, maybe 100. Yeah. And I remember it was packed. And
what I would have given to be there with you.
Well, I remember song 2
one of my favorite bands of all time.
And it was just like a tidal wave coming over. But I bring that up not to say I went to Blur and you didn't, but to say there would have been more people, I think, at Live Lounge, your place,
Yeah.
that night. So it's just sort of interesting what. So I would back you away from saying it's quaint or something, because it's, I mean, for guys like
Sure.
Frank and I thinking, hey, we can have a bunch of people show up, maybe.
Yeah.
Or you'll bring a bunch of your friends, or however it works, or your regular customers to come in. And we've had some of our bigger shows in Bangkok there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fun for us.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I like the way you have digitized your room, so you can do sound off your phone or something like that.
Yeah, it's a digital mixer we use. Yeah. So it's live mixing, which is always fun. Yeah. I'm not a mixer personally,
but you do.
I can do it though.
Yeah.
I can do it to a very basic level. Yeah. I love getting the professionals in to help us out, because the sound engineers, they're really a sight to behold, and it's a beautiful craft what they do.
Yeah, I forget the fellow's name who helped us the last time we played. Don, right. So, but Frank, we were happy with the sound up there, and we asked for adjustments. It worked out well. I mean, so that was cool. We're used to sort of troubleshooting our own stuff.
Yeah.
Tripping over each other's wires at some place,
Yeah.
Getting shocked. I think Frank at my new apartment, because I moved, is now getting shocked off his mic. So we just don't get it right. So you think it's grounded, you put the triple prong in there, and then you end up flying across the room because you're live wire. But
what's that, like static or something?
No, I think it's and Thai electric. It's great venues. This is a great office. We have everything's running fine, but a lot of times, you have a 3-prong outlet in the wall, and you think the 3rd prong is for grounding the plug, and you plug it in, and it's not at all grounded. Yeah. Right, and so things happen, and I think, especially in music, I mean, I think what's that almost famous where the guy gets shocked? It's sort of Spinal Tap, and stuff happens where you've got a lot of, a guitar plugged in one thing, and he's touching the keyboard and then the microphone, and so Frank seems to be sort of timid in the
once bitten, twice shy.
But Shogo, as drummer, gets a little more optionality. He's not getting shocked because he has a headset. But,
what a journey it is going from venue to venue, for you guys, just learning.
Yeah, I guess it's fun. I like it. It doesn't seem to bother me. I get excited about it, moving around to different spots. So you came up this year, Can you believe this was 2020, Jaitep? Good Lord, that was probably the last
beginning
hurrah.
Of the year,
right?
Yeah.
So we all
just before everything.
Yeah, you flew up. Shit. We drove up. So this is Bangkok to Chiang Mai. 10 hours, Frank? 12. We took a road trip. We stopped in that one town, Trot or whatever that was, and played at that one spot. But we played on the big stage there, and so I guess I was bringing that up to talk about sort of what's going on and what we've been doing, and then everything slams shut, right? Yeah. You guys closed down. Yeah. As you were ordered to, which was smart, and now we're through it. But you've come back strong, and you sort of worked your plan over the COVID break and said, let's do some live broadcasting. So how's that going for you? Could you talk to me about that?
Yeah, well, we're actually back doing live shows again now.
Yeah.
So there is going to be a live broadcast soon. It's going to be a live recording. A Thai band is going to perform, a very good Thai band, they have an Indian sitar player who's kind of the head of the band, and it's a beautiful band. They're going to play at Live Lounge at the end of the month. They're called Govinda Basaya.
You introduced me to this guy last year, I think.
Very possibly.
Right.
He's the sitar player. He's phenomenal. So they're going to do like a live recording with no audience, but actually we're doing shows with audiences now, and thank God, hopefully it continues. We've had our first show, a comedy show recently, and it went well. And touch wood, we can just keep doing things, and soon we'll start music on Friday nights again. Yeah. It'll be like a jam session, the way we like to do it. We like to get everyone involved. All the musicians in the city can come down and play with our host band.
What night is that?
It's going to be Fridays.
So you're switching that?
Yes. Switch from Mondays to Fridays.
Good.
Monday nights was our jam night, and we're now making it a Friday night weekly thing. We just feel like the city, it's in need of Friday nights.
For sure.
Yeah, good things to do on a Friday night.
Well, I went out to eat last night. The roads were empty still.
Yeah, it's eerily quiet around this area, isn't it?
And so we're beginning of August 2020, coming out of COVID. The country's done a great job, I think a model job, but we're all still sort of struggling in some level. But the Live Lounger's up and running. You've had your first show. So how do you sort of get the word out? Do you use Facebook as your primary thing, or Instagram?
We've got Facebook. We've got Instagram.
Huh.
We just use Facebook, really.
Yeah.
We're not social media super savvy social media, but we have these regular communities who come to watch our shows, and we get the word out via Facebook, really.
Yeah. So what is it? Live Lounge?
Live Lounge BKK.
BKK. Okay.
Yeah.
So spaces. Does it matter if there's spaces? I don't know how to say this out loud to the world.
Just Live Lounge BKK.
Yeah.
So live space lounge space BKK. Yeah.
Yeah, and I bring that up so people can hear that, because the communities overlap. So you had a fellow. I'd missed him, but Frank introduced me to this guy, Ray Red, who travels around the world and does music shows from everywhere. Australia.
One-man show.
He's unbelievable.
It's a one-man show.
And I just saw that he's in New York right now playing on...
Is he?
Yeah, Long Island or...
Oh, bless him.
Yeah.
What a guy, yeah.
And
Comes and just, he will get on the stage and he will play a seamless set, play his own drums, play the guitar.
Oh, he has that clacker thing on his foot, right?
Yes.
He showed me that wood. This is like our pin guitars, right? You have to get the photosanitary permit to send that wood around.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, I bring up Ray, and he has was kind enough to do a unsigned, which is his tagline for finding bands that don't have a big presence. And he did one of those of us maybe 3 years ago, Frank. 3 years ago.
That's a YouTube video series or something?
Yeah, it's longer than we thought. He did 45 minutes with an interview.
Yeah.
He did a good job.
Yeah.
He had a crew and filmed us, but it was at Queen Bee over on Soi 26, which is one of our regular venues. We play there Sunday nights. And Ray did a great job. But I see Ray. I mean, one night I walked in and Ray was playing a Simon and Garfunkel set for 2 hours, or on open mic night, just all Simon and Garfunkel songs. Then about 6 months later, he does like a series of Neil Young songs.
Yeah.
He must have 5,000 songs in his head or something.
He's a very definition of a touring artist, and that's why we love open mics, and we love the fact that these legends can swing by and play a few songs at our jam, our jam session, and that's the way we like to do it,
Yeah, so you had that. Used to be Monday, and you had a really eclectic dude that I like to watch. Was it Will?
Yes, Will Corbin, yeah.
Will Corbin, he's sort of...
His band is Lips Manly.
Yeah, I just saw that new name, or old name, that at first time, but...
they have their own jam on a Wednesday, but Will be a focal point of our jam on Friday night as well.
Yeah, he plays...
He's constantly coming with new material with his ukulele, and he's so creative. Yeah.
He did this version, and I'm sure you've heard it, but to me, I don't know, Frank, if we were there... First night I see this guy, and he gets up and he's just bellowing out this banjo version, or this ukulele version of Funky Town with a vocoder.
And he was just...
It was awesome.
He was just, captivated.
I didn't even understand what was happening. I was like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah, he's exceptional, man.
Yeah.
He's a very, very, in terms of being a character as well as an amazing musician.
Yeah.
He's life and soul of our jam, I would say.
Yeah, good.
And other musicians follow him, where obviously with good reason. He, with his creativity and is constantly bringing new material. I think all the musicians around him love playing with him.
Yeah, it's you can tell, like it's funny because I guess he does manage his stage too, because it's always, there's a lot of people want to play with him. So I give him a lot of credit for live open mics.
Yeah.
A lot of people show up, and he seems to be real good-natured about the whole thing. So,
yes.
Well, and I think that's credit to you and Davey. I mean, just sort of the good feeling at Live Lounge, which we all appreciate as folks who want to get on the stage every night and play to an empty room or play to 500 people. It's like, Max, let us play 12 nights in a row. It'll be great for you.
Yeah.
But it's
something that's easily overlooked. It's just making people feel good and leaving people with a good feeling.
Yeah.
It's we're not always going to nail it, but we do sure as hell aim to do it every time, and just leave, especially the performers, more than anyone, the performers, but certainly the audience as well.
Yeah, I forgot to text you last week, but someone I ran into who met you there had said, sweetheart. I was going to text you and said someone just called you sweetheart, but I forgot. It was funny.
Sweetheart, nice.
Right. From Newcastle on time? No, upon time. There we go.
That's the one, yeah.
T-H-Y-M-E?
T-Y-N-E.
Oh, Tyne.
Tyne, the River Tyne.
Jesus. All right, sorry.
There's a few other rivers in England which sound similar, but this is the River Tyne.
All right, we got that. Note, everyone take notes of that. We got to correct that later. Spell it right.
Yeah, big up to the tune, Newcastle upon Tyne.
So you, just to sort of bring this maybe to a conclusion, so you have all these choices. You're doing your live streaming. You're working out the bugs for that. We talked about bandwidth in our neighborhood, Watana, which is challenging, right? But it's awesome, 5G and the whole thing, but still a challenge to stream live.
Always.
You guys are working on that, and you decide to go with your first comeback show, comedy.
Yeah.
How awesome. Who was it? Is it? Do you?
Those guys, the comedy community were just dying to get on the stage.
Awesome.
They really were. They were. I would say more than anyone else. Those guys were dying to get on the stage and tell some jokes and unleash some new material. And it just had to be them. They're called Raw Comedy.
Raw Comedy.
They're a very special, comedy community, and they're not everyone's cup of tea. They're very in your face and raw, as it says on the tin, and they toe the line sometimes with the humor, but what they do is they always deliver laughs and in abundance, and you will leave there with a great feeling because you would have laughed so hard.
Yeah.
And they've done a weekly show at Live Lounge for over 2 years now, consistently every single Wednesday, and they had to be the first show back.
Yeah, good.
They had to be. They wanted to be back, and we wanted them back, and it's great to bring laughter back to the city. There's not too much in the way of comedy going on right now.
So help me understand that when you say Raw Comedy is it's a team or
it's a community. It's a comedy community.
Wow.
Yeah. So on last Wednesday we had 16 comedians showed up to get on the lineup, and they all got on, and they all got about an average of 5 minutes each. Obviously the headliner was about 10-15. And that's how we do things, that's how the Raw Comedy guys do things, and the organizers, Justin St. Denis and Chris Raufeisen, they're a great team, and they do a great job with getting everyone on the stage. Wow. And
so do they manage that, or do you just sort of say, here are the keys?
They manage the lineup, and I support them throughout the night. I prepare the stage, I prepare the room for them, I prepare the staff, I make sure everything runs smooth for them to run their great show. Yeah.
Frank, do you remember this?
You have to come down some
I will.
Wednesday.
I can't believe I haven't come, because Wednesday nights, I'll admit this is my basketball night. So
yeah, fair enough.
All right,
yeah.
But maybe I could come after. But I remember the first night we played, Max was stringing up, I'd call him drapes, but that would be a fancy name. I'm not saying you're not fancy, but you were stringing up a backdrop right behind the stadium seating, which is probably the wrong word for that too. So drapes isn't the right word, stadium seating isn't. But do you remember you were stringing that up, and I said, Max, I think we're going to have more people here tonight. You said, no problem. And then you turned the lights sort of back up because you'd made it really sort of dark and intimate with 2 floodlights or 2 Klieg lights. I'm not sure which they were for the stage. You remember? But it's funny. So you have the 16,
playing around with the lighting.
Yeah, the 16 comedians, and then you have a good crowd that shows up.
Absolutely, yeah.
And raw meaning profane, or raw meaning they say what they want to say and there's not censored? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they do a great job of it.
Yeah.
They do a great job of it, and I will say that, although their humor's not for everyone, they're not obscene.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, they would be regarded by some as obscene, but this is humor. This is they're humoring the world and all the crazy stuff that's in the world, and they don't like to there is no taboo subject with Raw Comedy. They will approach every subject the same. This is whatever happens in the world, they're going to make a humor out of it.
Well, so I think I want to tie this up, and maybe we'll try and conclude here, because we're working on sort of a more narrow time frame framework. But I'm interested about this because it's 16 people. I mean, that's to me is sort of the live lounge, and that's the thread to what we're talking about here, sort of the health.
16
BKK
people
Ox.
of all nationalities.
Right.
All nationalities, including Thai.
Right.
Yes, they're performing in English language. But on Wednesday night, it really brought it home. This is what Live Lounge is all about. You know, we had a really international, I mean, from Asian to American to European, we had just a completely international group of performers, roster of performers.
Do you have the PVC piping up with shields between each other? And should we wink at each other and say yes? But I mean, you're following the COVID restrictions here, and you have social distancing. So
we're taking care of everything.
Yeah, that's good. And
we're making everyone feel good and feel safe and clean and everything else.
Well, so you know, for those of you dialing in and first time Live Lounge, first time Bangkok, first time Max Rapkin, first time me, Frank Shogo, cat's out of the bag a little bit here. I hadn't, in 2 or 3 years, I hadn't seen Max perform, but you had been mentioning the performance stuff that you do. And then we were fooling around in here 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 now, setting up the new equipment we have. And you did a spoken piece, I'll call it, and you can give me the right title in a second when you introduce it if you want. But
sure.
I was beside myself. I was really shocked. It was awesome, and I really the highlight of today, hopefully, again, is after you do this, we're going to go over to check out your space.
Sure.
And I think that's part of the Roman Anton podcast. One of the highlights is going to be, even though Max didn't want to, offer up a good BKK Ox Facebook site and then the Live Lounge site. If you were flying in from anywhere and you checked those two out and you stayed in the Sukhumvit area, you would have more than enough entertainment for a month wrapped up in all that stuff that you just offer up. And then continuous entertainment. So I think that's why I did that is hopefully this thing serves a purpose of when you're coming into town, you check this out.
Yeah.
But in particular, today to me was also so you could do this again, because it was cool. It was sort of cool listening to you and seeing a mate, do a not a new thing, but a new thing for me.
Yeah.
Because you've been very patient in watching us perform and showing up and helping with stuff and helping on the music book, or just commenting and even writing about some of the stuff. And so this is.
I don't often perform. It was a special occasion for me as well.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure. I wanted to ask you that. Yeah. And that's what I thought driving over, because I felt like we both were very excited by that. And we have it recorded, which is cool. And
that's super cool,
Yeah, I was going to pass it along to you at some point just so you can have it in your archive or whatever. But,
please, yeah.
Yeah. But would you mind doing that again for us so we could hear it, or
I would be on it.
Okay, you need a break, or you want to
do it
rock?
in your office? Yeah, we can do it.
All right,
let's go.
Franco, you want to focus on Max for this next little bit here? And
where do you want me to look?
This will be your camera, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And so he's gonna get up and do something, and he'll give you a signal. But
shall I do it right from my seated position?
Up to you.
I'm happy to do it right from here. Yeah.
You're good. All right, Franco says we're good. The master at arms, and Shogo, his second, has confirmed this. So Max Rapkin, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Well, this is a poem. I love writing poetry, so this is a poem that I will perform seated here for you, and it's called "My Name Is Max," and I think it's about inspiration or being inspired. And I was definitely inspired when I wrote this poem. So I like to listen to you while I peruse my mind's eye for something new. I'm definitely a guy who likes to do, but sometimes I get lost in this human stew. Perhaps you do too. Here's the truth. My life feels like an unfinished book I've been writing since my youth, all through the confusion at school, drifting down babbling brooks. I still wrote stories, verses and hooks, defining chapters that shape my outlook. And today, now and here, Mr. Fear has never been so near, since it became so clear that holding him so dear would lead me into a whole new sphere. And as I look in the rear view, I see my life has been one big struggle with fear. Are you feeling me here? In my humble opinion, fear must be revered, because it can strike at any moment unless we own it. Most of us know it, but we still can't control it. It's a fact of life, happens all the time. The happiness we strive for, fear stole it. So, I locked my eyes on a goal 9 years ago. Over a single malt whiskey, a seed was sown. I pledged my soul to the only thing I know that can help me get to where I want to go. Performing arts. It's been in my blood from the start, and it's written in the stars, and now it's lodged in my heart. When I see a performance live unfolding before my eyes, it's like I'm captured by the zeitgeist. It's an energy that just feels right. Pure expression laid bare in its essence. Teaching us lessons, ain't no one stressing. You could say we're all one. A human community has begun. Whether it's spoken word or the beat of the Congo drum. Bum, bada, bum, 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 bada, bum, bum. Paint on a canvas, dancers doing handstands in their element, moving their bodies with such elegance. You see, what I'm trying to say is, I believe in your art, and somehow, some way, I hope we can collaborate someday. Time is all we have, and it's running away. So, better make haste. We live in a world of potential wasted, but if you and I put pen to paper, the universe might just deliver us a verse to savor. This wasn't rehearsed. I just listened to your voice and felt moved to write some words. Thanks for listening. I've got an inkling that little twinkling on the horizon might have us thinking along the same lines. So, here's to first contact. And did I mention, my name is Max. Thank you, sir.
Right on.
Thank
Come
you.
on. That's awesome.
I appreciate it.
You know, I'm a sucker as an American, I guess, but you give me an accent, I think of the Beatles, but like word choice, twinkling, I mean, just a lot of the imagery is very evocative, you know, so it's cool. It's cool, and I really think you capture the spirit of Max and Live Lounge.
Yeah.
In the same thing, because it's just a very optimistic come on in. You know, it's sort of Sgt. Pepper's to me as well, like...
Yeah.
Come and see the show, right? You know, it's just that classic sort of archetype narrative for the rock band when they're coming up with their concepts. So I really, it touches me in a musical way.
I'm really happy to hear that, you know, because I love the idea of it connecting with other people as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of poetry is very personal to the writer, and, you know, it can't always be felt by everyone else, even though the sentiment can be felt.
Yeah.
But the idea of, I think I really want to connect with people when I write poetry and perform as well, so that people can kind of capture the essence and they can relate to it. I hope it's relatable.
Well, and thanks, Max. So let me maybe close on this. I was really happy about 4 weeks ago. I reached out to you on a morning, COVID, before I returned to the office. And I said, what's up? And you said, let me get back to you. I'm writing, just straight up.
Yeah.
And I have a friend in New York, Robert, who does the same thing pretty frequently to me when I call, and I know he's busy, but I 12 hours apart, you call when you can. And that was not the first time, you know, I'm not keeping track of this stuff, but it was interesting because I'm sensing this transition's going on as well, but I thought it was pretty cool. And you said, hey, you know, don't bother me, I'm writing.
Yeah.
Here we go. Way to go, Max.
You know, writing is a meditation for me, and it's something which has been with me from the beginning, and it'll be with me till the end. You know, and one way or another, I'll always be writing. So, and I love writing poetry. I love writing the articles for BKK Ox. I love writing, you know, I love writing stories. I don't really get to do that too much, but that time will come. Yeah.
Hey, maybe next time you come back, we'll talk about updates on BKK Ox, health.
Yeah.
Live Lounge, see if you get your heart rate up at all. But
I work on it every day.
Yeah. No,
you know?
I mean, I know you're checking out the local gyms and stuff, the Muay Thai gyms and stuff, but I'd be interested, you know, if next time you pick a spot in Bangkok, if you've seen a cool workout area, just to let folks who are dialing in from overseas checking this out, maybe we think about that one.
Yeah, because I could tell you one right now.
Well, I don't need it, but okay. I mean, maybe we'll keep that as a goal, but something you and I could run out and check out, because I've been doing a lot of walking lately, trying to get my knee a little better.
Yeah.
I've walked by a bunch of open air Muay Thai shops in our neighborhood here, like 5 within, you know, a 10-mile area here.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Selling Muay Thai gear and stuff.
No, just sort of open air gyms.
Oh, open air gyms. Yeah.
Like,
well, this is the land of Muay Thai.
Right.
It's a special martial art. Those guys, you know, they they can just take unreal amounts of punishment. Yeah. You know, because they do it since they were young. You know.
Well, I didn't mean to get out of sequence there. That was awesome. Thanks for doing that again. Man. Let's.
Thank you, sir.
Every show I told you this, we're going to have a bit of a talk. I don't know if that's an English thing what I just said there, but a talk and then a performance. So that was the performance here, and then we're going to ask Frank to shut this down. And we're going to make our way over to your place, Live Lounge.
Let's do it.
Are there any plugs you want to do for the camera of social media or stuff or your location? Or are we not getting specifics, or is that not a big deal for you?
Not a big deal.
Okay.
If you're coming to Bangkok, come and meet us, check us out.
All right, Live Lounge.
We'd love to meet you.
Soi 13, Sukhumvit.
That's the one.
Bangkok, Thailand, Max Rapkin. Thank you, Max.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Franco.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Many thanks.
All right.
Awesome. Yeah. That's a wrap. It's a little bit shorter this time? A little bit?
I don't know. How long was it, Franco?
Okay, Roman Anton podcast here at the Live Lounge on Sukhumvit
Welcome.
Soi 13, Bangkok, Thailand. Max Rapkin.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for inviting me over.
My pleasure.
Show me your space.
This is where all the magic happens, Joe.
Yeah, good.
Right here.
So tell me, how long you guys been open at this location?
September 2016 was our very first open mic, the very first show we did here in these 4 walls.
Nice.
So that is, we're getting on 4 years.
Yeah. You remember what it was?
Yeah, it was an open mic. It was actually like we had an idea that we wanted to do different performing arts in one night. So we wanted to do comedy and music in one night, in one night show. You know, it didn't go so great. It was kind of strange. It was very weird and experimental. Nevertheless, that was the birth of Live Lounge. So we had an open mic, music and comedy combined.
So Adam Sandler, live music, comedy.
Yeah.
Combination.
The comedians were not best pleased. You know, they were all about sort of, you know, the atmosphere and the crowd. You know, and are they ready for comedy? And it was a very experimental night. But you know what? There was, as always, when you get an open mic. And a stage like this, there was some beautiful performances. I remember them to this day.
Yeah. So in our interview just a little while ago, you said you'd reopen this week or recently.
Yeah.
From August 2020, post-COVID, or hopefully middle of COVID over here, but recovering. You had the comedy act. So do you have more than one show a week, or do you have multiple shows? Tell me what can people expect if they come to Bangkok and come to Live Lounge?
We are working with the improv community and an improv community. They're called ZMAC. We are working with Raw Comedy, a comedy community in Bangkok, and we work with a lot of musicians for a live music jam, which we have every Friday night, or we are going to start at the end of August. So anytime after the end of August, swing by on a Friday night and watch some open mic musicians getting on the stage, jamming together. Lots of magic happening. We do a poetry night, so we do poetry slams and we do poetry open mics.
Nice.
So we are also starting a brand new open mic, another open mic, which will be called All in One, and this is a performers open mic of all genres, of all types. So this is a night where performers can come and work on their stuff, hone their craft. You know, they can. As long as their piece is rehearsed, they can come and perform at this open mic, and we will try and help them work on their material as well. They can come and rehearse beforehand. So it's a real night for performers, and it's called All in One Open Mic. And I'm very excited about this. There are 2 Thai people running it, 2 Thai performers, a female Thai comedian called Frammy, and I would like to say a magician, but he would call himself a mentalist.
Nice.
And he is called Sarin Suryakun, and they are running it, co-hosting it, and I can't wait for this show. They're going to bring a lot of the Thai performers community to this open mic, and hopefully it's going to be a completely multicultural open mic where both Thai people and international people feel comfortable coming to perform. This is a very exciting thing for us.
Nice. So let me ask you this. So if you watch this whole video and you made it through to this point, you perform. Would that be the night you would perform on?
I would not
perform.
I would not. I would never say no to performing. Right. If I'm asked to perform, but I would never say, right, put my name on that sheet. I'm performing. I run the place, and my job is to support performers, and that's my role here. to facilitate everything. And you know, I'm not I'm not shy of getting on the stage. You might find me at a poetry night getting on the stage
that's
now
what
and again.
I was trying to figure.
Yeah.
Are you calling that performance or poetry? So, all right, how about this, Frank? Next time we play, can you do your piece between our shows if we play here again?
I would be honored.
All right, that would be fun.
I would do that piece anywhere. Just purely if you asked me, you know, I'd do it.
All right.
Because yeah, you're a mate, and I love to share my poetry.
Yeah, cool. So you had Yeti. I saw him play live once before, and just a sort of wild dude.
Wow, solos just from another galaxy.
Right.
Yeah.
So is he Thai or where's he from?
He's
Filipino?
half Vietnamese, half Thai. I want to say, I hope I didn't get this wrong. He's a very good guy. He's called Adam. His real name's Adam Jang, an incredible musician, incredible guy. And yeah, he's got kind of mixed heritage, and he's an incredible performer.
Well, the reason why I asked is I've
seen
him advertised in other countries when I travel.
Yeah.
Right, so he plays around a lot.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. He loves to tour.
Yeah.
His life is music, you know.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Well, so you're real close to this, what I consider sort of the Times Square if you're thinking about New York, or maybe Leicester, or Piccadilly if you're thinking about London. This area is right in the middle of it. So you have the train stops here. What is that, Nana stop or the Asok stop?
Asok.
Yeah.
And we are just about in the middle of Nana and Asok, and we are a 5-10 minute walk.
Yeah.
You know, even for a casual walker, we're very close to the SkyTrain here, so it's a convenient location without a doubt. It's pretty central because Bangkok is such a sprawling metropolis that goes off in all kind of different directions. We're kind of central here.
All right, and if people want to see your schedule, you post it on Facebook at Live Lounge BKK.
Facebook, Live Lounge BKK.
All right, and you post it in other places? Instagram?
We have an Instagram account, live_lounge_BKK.
All right, and you can see the schedule. You guys are pretty reliable in terms of posting information, so check in. But
thank you.
I would say this: your open mic is different because you get a lot of very good performers coming to it. And I'm not saying open mics don't, but there's structure to it and there's not structure to it. And so it's fun if you get to see Will or some of the regulars play.
Yeah.
And then we've seen some real celebrities
it's very cool
in terms of just coming or stars.
I think the informal aspect of it is what I love about it, and it's what I know the musicians love about it, because this is a place where they know they can come and hang out, play together, work on new songs, you know, and that's the informal aspect of it, you know, and that's what the audience expect. They expect these guys to just get on the stage, jam together, play a new song for the first time. Yeah. It's very special, you know, it's very special and in its informality, you know, and it's very laid back, and you're being yourself, and I've seen you come back a few times, so we must be doing something right.
Good deal. Well, like I said, I come here for the cheese fries on some nights, but I'll squeeze Friday night in now to stop by and see shows. Max, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Joe.
It's a pleasure.
I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you,
All
mate.
right.
Yeah.
Let's sign out.
Here we are. Beautiful.
1, 2, 3, quiet.